Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here. And thank you for even that one view that you gave me. I appreciate a lot. So guys, before today's story, no, I'm not going to use Swahili. I have diaspora. So, before I go to this story, I think we have learned one thing is that these ladies who are doing these things, first of all, there are those people who decided to take some procedures, things like tying their tubes, things like hysterectomy, which I had during these videos. I've never had it before, whereby somebody's womb is taken out of her. So I think they reach a point where they want a kid. They cannot carry a kid anymore, and they find themselves in such situations. I know it's not something that you are supposed to do, but some people are pushed too far, and they find themselves doing something that they're not supposed to do. So please, guys, if you are not sure of if you want a child or you don't take a procedure that you might regret in the future. So let's get to our story for today. Imagine you go to a place, or maybe you are a garbage collector, and you are there trying to get rid of a garbage from a certain home. Then you find a body inside that garbage paper or garbage bag. Guys, what will you feel, or how terrified will you be? So this story happens. This lady, she goes by the name of Marlen Ochoa. Hey, these Mexican names. She was born in Mexico, but as time went by, her father, who was an author, kind of crossed to, I don't know guys if you have watched A Woman of Steel, where there was this people passing and there was a lot of deaths. And it's really, I hear it's really tough to cross from Mexico to the States. I don't know why, but there's some kind of struggles happening in those situations back in the States, because I've seen them even in soaps. So it means it's something that really happens. So Arnolfo crossed to the States to come and to look for greener pastures, so that he can take care of his wife and his kid, because he had only one kid who was Marlen Ochoa. And when he reached in the States, he struggled, did what he was supposed to do as a father, and went back to get his wife, who was Raquel. They came back to the States, trying to be specific, in Chicago, Illinois. And they're here trying to find a place for their daughter who they had left behind. So they're struggling, hustling here and there to find a good place. You know, if you really have a child, you really have to look for a perfect place where you can raise a child, where you can make sure your child is okay. It's very different when you are looking for a place where you are going to live alone, and when you are looking for a place where you are going to raise your child. So when they finally got a place, got a job, got everything they needed for them to raise their child smoothly, they went back to Mexico and brought their daughter, who was now Ochoa, Marlen Ochoa. So Marlen Ochoa came to the States, and at this moment she was in high school. So she was an only child, and people said, or the family said, that she was a very lovely person. She was social. She was a kind-hearted person. She was a hard-working person. She loves school and all that. So remember, this is a teenager, and most of the time teenagers don't really possess these values. Let's call them values, because let's be sincere, because at this age many teenagers are actually rebels. They want to do things that parents don't want and all that. But Marlen Ochoa was a very good girl. She even enrolled in school, and at the age of 15, she met a man by the name Yovani. And Yovani Lopez, they kind of clicked and started dating and all that. So after some years, they got married. When they got married, remember, she's still in high school. A year after their marriage, I don't know, guys, but I don't know if it's okay for you to let your child or your daughter get married when she's still in high school. But it's a story I'm telling, but for me, I don't think it's advisable. But they got married. A year after their marriage, she got pregnant and gave birth to a boy by the name Joshua. And they were now living with the husband, who was Yovani. And remember now, Marilyn is having this son, who is Joshua, and she's still in school. I mean, I just give a hand of applause for her, because I don't know, like, even work, leave alone school. You going to work and coming back and taking care of your daughter or your son at the same time is tough. I can tell you from experience, it's very tough. But for her being a teenager, and who was around 18 at the time, doing all this, it was just a round of applause for that woman, because she was doing the most. She was trying to make her life a better place, because she actually wanted to become a fashion designer, so she was really working hard towards her goals. And I think 3 years after Joshua was born, she became pregnant again. And at this time now, Marilyn knew now there's a problem, because she was not going to be able to go to school, or even if she was going to go to school, it was going to be extra tough, because at all this time, really not much is really said about Yovani, what he did not do. But I'm sure he did something, because she was going to school, so somebody was sustaining the family, and I'm sure Yovani was doing that. So all this time, when she became pregnant the second time, she decided to kind of interact with the community and like know how to do things. You know, if maybe there's somebody out there who has extra clothes for a child, you know, just trying to be ready for this child who, I think for her, she had already seen that she's not going to be able to cater for this child. So she was looking for alternative ways to make sure her family went forward. So she entered a group that was called a Sister for Help and something like that. So in this group, she met a woman by the name Clarisa Figueroa. You know, these Mexican names. So Clarisa here was a 46-year-old woman who had 2 kids. One kid was called Desiree, who was 25, and another kid was called Xander, and Xander was 20 years old. So in 2018, actually it's not a story that happened a long time ago. So in 2018, Xander died of natural causes, and this broke down Clarisa. So Clarisa, I don't know, it's kind of, that's my thought. I feel like it kind of, she went into a mission. In short, she just went into a mission of like finding another Xander. Let's say that, because now when they were in this group, you know, remember this Clarisa had met really in the group, and they were, you know, when you are in a group, you're not chatting to one person. You guys are just talking as a community. So Clarisa actually asked in a group, who is due in May 5th? You know, just asking, maybe the way any pregnant woman can ask, because apparently it was said that Clarisa was pregnant with a son, and the daughter, who was Desiree, was really, you know, didn't really understand how she became pregnant, because according to Desiree, her mother, who was Clarisa, her tubes were already tied. Remember what I said, guys. Don't do such procedures if you don't know what tomorrow holds for you. So, but I think Desiree was also a lonely person. So she just wanted a sibling. So when the mother said she was pregnant, even if the tubes were tied, for her, she was like, okay, I'm going to have a sibling. She didn't really go deep into the whole situation and understand how the mother got pregnant. So on this day that this woman said that, that is asked in the group that who is due on May 5th, Marilyn answered that I'm due May 2, you know. She didn't even sing, she said, I'm doing May 2. And they kind of clicked, and they started talking. And after a while, not Clarisa, but the lady now, Marilyn, asked in their group again, who was clothes, boy clothes that they want to, or male clothes that they want to kind of donate. And Clarisa came out and said, I have, you can come do what? Come pick at my place. So Clarisa told Marilyn that they can go to their inbox and chat privately so that they can kind of agree on how to meet and where to meet. And in that inbox, that's where now Clarisa told Marilyn that they can meet in her house and she can come to pick, and they exchanged address and all that. Apparently, Clarisa and Marilyn didn't really live far. It was like a 3-mile walk, not 3-mile walk, but 3-mile drive. And they arranged for a meeting, and before they met, which they had decided to meet on 1st April of 2018, before they met, they kind of, Clarisa was now talking to her daughter, who was Desiree, and she was telling Desiree that she wanted Desiree to go out there, look for a pregnant woman who they will kind of kidnap, come and kill, and so that they can get the baby out of her womb. And I don't know how Desiree took this, because Desiree kind of didn't understand why the mother was doing that, but she did not really comment or like say anything negative or positive, whichever. But Desiree told her boyfriend at that time what the mother had told her, and the boyfriend told her if they tried to do that, he was going to report them to the police, because he was not ready to find himself in such a situation, because obviously his name will be called, because most of the time it is said that the boyfriend used to stay in that house most of the time, so he might be caught up in the whole situation. So when it reached 1st April, remember this is the day that they had decided to meet. So when it reached that day, which was 1st April, this lady Marilyn came to visit, to take the clothes, and when she entered the house, she was called to the basement where I think this is where now they kept the clothes. She was called to the basement, and they kind of chose clothes and did what, but remember the boyfriend was there. The boyfriend to Desiree was still there. But now when they were doing this search of clothes, sorting out clothes, Desiree and the mother kept leaving and going to another room, then coming back. They were acting very weird. And it is said that the boyfriend at a point called Desiree and told her, if you are trying to kill this woman because of her baby, I'm going to report you to the police. So for me, I think that day, the reason why Marilyn was not killed is because of the remarks that the boyfriend had made. Because I don't understand why they did not do it on that day. So Desiree told the boyfriend, she was now trying to clarify what she had said previously. So she said that it is April 1st, it's a fool's day, I was just fooling you. It's not like we were going to do all this that I told you to do. But the boyfriend still insisted, if you do anything to this woman, I'm going to report you to the police. So they kind of let it off and gave Marilyn the clothes, and she left. And when she left, I think it's kind of Marilyn felt like what can I tell you? Like it's like when you go visit a person for the first time, you kind of develop that trust. So she developed that trust, and she asked Clarisa again if she had other clothes she wanted to not deliver, but she wanted to donate. So I think Marilyn was also very naive, because this woman was also giving birth, according to the story. She was pregnant. So why would she be giving all these clothes, and yet what about her own daughter, her own son, which apparently she was carrying? Now, Clarisa told her, yeah, there are more clothes, you can come take. So on 23rd of the same year, on 23rd April, the same month exactly, the same month, which is still April. Remember the first visit was on 1st. Now the second visit was on 23rd April. On this day now, Marilyn went to school. And when she went to school, she had decided that she was going to school, then pass by Clarisa's house, then pick the clothes, then go to Joshua's play school, go pick her, then go home, pick him, then go home. So when she went to this house, which is Clarisa's house, Marilyn was never ever seen again. So guys, when the school called Yovani, remember the husband to Marilyn, when Yovani was called by the school, being told that the son, who was Joshua, was not picked from school, Yovani was really shocked, because Marilyn has really never ever missed picking the child. If she ever missed, she would find that she had informed somebody to do the picking of this son. But that day everything went quiet. Nobody knew where Marilyn was, and the son was still in school. So Giovanni went to pick the son from school, and Giovanni called the parents, who was Arnolfo and Raquel, and asked them if they had seen Marilyn. But no, none of them had seen Marilyn, and the parents, let's say just the family, had started now feeling like Giovanni was responsible, because it is said that at that moment there was a slight problem in their marriage. So they felt like maybe Giovanni had actually done something to her, or maybe she went into labor and went to the hospital. And guys, I think for women who are watching me, you understand what I mean by labor, because at the moment that you are in labor, you can't even carry a phone. So I think the parents or the family members thought if Giovanni didn't do anything to this girl, maybe she went to labor and just dropped a phone somewhere, or maybe a phone is somewhere, she's in the hospital. They called the hospital around that place, but nobody had seen nobody had actually seen this, this girl. So when all these things were happening, now Clarisa was now let me tell you what really happened at that moment when Clarisa, not Clarisa, when Marilyn had gone to Clarisa's place. So when she had gone to Clarisa's place the second time, now the boyfriend was not there, but the boyfriend to Clarisa now was there, but the boyfriend to Desiree was not there. So when she reached there, she was kind of given a chair to sit in the living room. When she was seated there, she was put in a way that she was not facing the kitchen, but facing the door, the main door, and her back was facing the kitchen. That's when now Desiree came with a family photo, and as they were kind of how can I say, confusing her or something, just like making her not really be aware of the surrounding. And she was kind of going through the photos, going through Xander, who I told you was 20 years when he died. So she's going through. Remember, she's not trustworthy. She's trust these people because she has been here once. This is the second time she knows these people. This woman is actually donating her clothes. She's a good woman. Even you could just. You can just tell yourself that, because nobody does that. Nobody donates things. If you have a good heart, it's when you can do such a thing. So she's busy looking at the photos and all that. That's when Clarisa came with a knife. Not really a knife. She came back with a cord or a wire or a cable. Well, I don't know the name you can give it, and kind of started strangling her. So she's there strangling her, and Marilyn took her hands and put it on her neck, trying to prevent the choking. And that's when Clarisa shouted to Desiree and told you are not doing your job. So the woman who's Desiree stood up and started removing Marilyn's hands from the cord. And when their hands were out, now the woman who was Clarisa kept strangling her. It is said that they actually strangled this woman for 45 straight minutes. Guys, you can imagine 45 minutes you being strangled. I think it's just because she gave out a very strong fight. She fought for her life, because I don't know, guys, but pregnant women have a very extraordinary power. Like, they can fight. She fought back, but they got the better of her, because remember, there were two people, Clarisa and the daughter, and she was alone, and on top of it, she was pregnant. That's when now this woman just gave up, and it is said that she urinated on herself and died. When she died, it is said that Clarisa went to the kitchen, brought out garbage bag, a knife, and a bucket. And she came, cut her womb, and took out the child, and took her body. It's kind of dismembered her body and put it in the garbage bag and put it in the balcony. Now, guys, after they had done all this, Clarisa called the police, and say, let's say just called 911 and say that she had given birth and her child was not breathing. The paramedics came, took her to the hospital and took care of the child. The child was taken to the NICU. Guys, NICU is the intensive care unit for the newborns, and Clarisa was taken into the ward to be checked. The part that I don't understand exactly is why these nurses did not really tell the police that this woman did not give birth, because there was no sign of this woman giving birth. The only sign of blood that she had is the blood in her clothes that was split in her clothes and the hands. But any other body, nothing really showed that this woman was ever pregnant in the first place. But these people just cleaned her up, the hands, the clothes and all that, and let her go to the NICU to go and see her son. Now, when she reached the NICU, she named her son Xander. Remember, Xander was her son who died when he was 20 years old in 2018. So Clarisa was actually, I think he was obsessed in kind of bringing back her son, but now he wanted to bring him back. And I'm sure if this woman had not tied her tubes, she could have gotten pregnant again and give birth to as a child. I don't know if God would have given him her son so that she could name him Xander, but this is what she wanted. So the police kind of did not really get to understand what really happened. So this family, the Marlen family, they decided to find a private investigator, because the police didn't seem to kind of get the story straight and tell them what really happened to their daughter. They found a Mexican investigator who was given 36 minutes straight to work on this case. I think they paid a lot of money, because they said that this investigator was to work for 36 minutes straight. So when he started going through the social media platforms that belonged to Marlen, they found out that she was talking to a woman by the name Clarisa Figueroa, and they followed up this story. And when they found out that this is the last woman who had seen Marlen alive, that's when now they went to the police and gave out these findings. And the police went to Clarisa's house. When they reached there, now they found Desiree. And Desiree told them that her mother had given birth, and she is at the hospital because the son or the newborn is not okay. Now that's when the police were like, given birth. This woman is 46 years old, given birth. I'm not saying that 46-year-olds cannot give birth, but it's a rare event. Let's just be sincere about it. It's not something that happens every day. So they went to the hospital where this woman was, and first, before they went there, they went to Yovani's house. They took his DNA. They went to the hospital and took the DNA and kind of went to do a test on the specimen. I don't know the name to give it. The things that they had carried for them to go and do the test, and they found out that actually this child belonged to Yovani. And when remember, this child was really in a critical condition, and it reached a point the police said that the child, not the police but the doctors, said that the child had gone into the half of his brain was not working, and the child finally, not really final, but he was in a critical condition all this time, and he was not feeling okay. And Clarisa here, who was in the hospital, she had even formed what we call here in Kenya, we call it mchango, something like that, but there they call it a GoFundMe. So they were trying to fund for the hospital bill of this Xander now. And when people had actually donated a lot of money, and it said that the money that is out there that people know that was donated was $10,000. And this woman was actually in the hospital, saying, my son, even still she was still in the group that where they met with this lady Marlen. And all this time, the police now was trying to find out, you know, when they found out actually that this child that did not belong to him, to her, that's when they took this woman to the police station and kind of tried to understand what had happened. Now that's when actually Clarisa refused to accept that this child did not belong to her. So the police went back to Clarisa's house, and at this time now they are searching for Marilyn's body. Remember, Marilyn's body had not been found at this point. So they went back to the house trying to search. That's when they reached to the backyard, they found the boyfriend to Clarisa who went by the name Bobak. And they found Bobak trying to clear some things in there. But it was as if he was trying to clear a crime scene, because when they saw the police, he said that they have caught us. End of quote. Like, that's what he said. So the police went and tried to search, and when they reached the garbage, that's when they found the dismembered body of Marlen Ochoa, and the family was informed, and the family was really, really devastated, because this girl had a whole life ahead of her. She was only 19 when she died, and at this point, remember, they are still taking care of the son in the hospital. When now it reached a point that they felt that this son was actually suffering for nothing, because he was never going to be okay. Even if he ever got okay, he still had a brain damage. So they actually decided to take the son, or the son who was Xander, yeah, out of the, you know, what support machine, and he died. And it was really devastating, because for them, they felt like this son was the only thing that they had remaining from their daughter. But now the son was also dead, and the three people were involved. Now the Bobak, who was the boyfriend to the Clarisa herself, and Desiree were sentenced to life imprisonment, and it is said the charges were, you know, the likes of killing, premeditated murder, first-degree murder, and Bobak was accused or was sentenced for hiding information. So guys, this is the story I had for you guys today. I hope you liked it. I hope you share. I hope you subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. I hope you liked this story. Don't forget to comment. Bye.